Hello, I hope you've been well and keeping safe. Today I wanted to show you how I make some of my sketchbooks and also how handmade sketchbooks can help you improve your art. If you're like me and ever had a fancy sketchbook, like a moleskin, you have probably gotten precious with what you put inside. You want every page to be filled with beautiful art, and even though it can be satisfying to flip through a sketchbook like that, it can actually stunt and harm your art. And here's why. This attitude can be limiting because you're not allowing time for experimenting and playing. And this includes making mistakes. In order to improve, you need to make lots of mistakes. Back when I was a student, I was on a pretty tight budget and could not afford to buy quality supplies at the time. I started making portfolios on binders out of leftover cardboard just to keep my work organized. And this practice soon morphed into making notepads and sketchbooks. I discovered that because the paper quality was low and it was not a pretty bound book, I did not care if I made a mistake. So I started using it to brainstorm ideas, test materials, note making, list making, basically everything except serious sketching. I use 4 types of sketchbooks. First, I use a 3-ring binder. This is where I accumulate loose pieces of paper to then transfer to a handmade sketchbook. The 3-ring binder measures 7.5 inches by 9 inches, and the pages inside measure 8.5 by 5.5 inches. So if you cut a regular piece of paper in half, you'll have 2 pages for your binder. I usually do this for smaller works in watercolor, coquille paper, or Bristol board. I also have lined paper that I use to take notes, make lists, and journal. Once the binder gets thick enough, I assemble a sketchbook with cardboard. Second, I use a miniature sketchbook. My miniature sketchbooks measure 3.5 inches by 4.25 inch. The first one I made was actually intended to be a zine, but I like the format so much that this is now my on-the-go sketchbook because it fits everywhere. I make them with regular copy paper and cardstock cover. I make the covers white so I can decorate each one however I'm feeling at the moment. I made a special mini sketchbook when I went on my trip to Scotland and Barcelona. This one has Bristol board pages inside for better quality sketching, and it has plastic rings because I intended to give my art away to friends and family. Number 3, my ugly sketchbook. Okay, so there's a term that's popular in the interwebs that is the ugly sketchbook. And the cool thing about having an ugly sketchbook is that no one has to see it and that you can make it however you want. Mine are usually made up with cardboard and either scrap pieces of paper or brown wrap paper, which is awesome because it can serve as toned paper and it's kind of thick. My ugly sketchbooks measure 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches, same as when you cut down a piece of paper in half. Only with this one, I punch the holes so it's landscape oriented. I use my ugly sketchbook to brainstorm, test materials, and doodle a lot. And number 4, my fancy sketchbook. That's when I have a regular sketchbook. I use it for deeper work like studies, inking, and in-depth development of ideas. It used to take me forever to complete a sketchbook because I wanted everything to look so good. That pressure made me draw less, and when I drew less, I practiced less, and I experimented less and didn't make any mistakes because I was scared, so I grew less as an artist. Now, because I have a dedicated surface for playing and experimenting, my creative process has become more efficient and enjoyable. When you do this, you're allowing yourself to see your mistakes under a different light, helping you to see where you want to go next. So when it's time to use the fancy sketchbook, it becomes a pleasant experience all the time. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you would like to support my channel, you can do so by clicking like and subscribing. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Ciao!